Hello, welcome to my videos in my blog. In this time, I'm going to talk about the NFL 2025 season week 4 prediction. Well, tomorrow is going to start the fourth week of the season, where in the Thursday night football it will be played a divisional game of the NFC West division, where the Arizona Cardinals are going to receive the Seattle Seahawks. This game is gonna to be played on Arizona, no, in Tucson, Arizona. I don't know in what part of Arizona, on 2015 Eastern time. So let's talk about the games that will be played, and I'm gonna to give my predictions. So I told you this the week are going to talk about is gonna to start tomorrow with the Thursday night football and a tremendous divisional game where it will be played between the Cardinals against the Seahawks. This is a very important game because in this moment the both teams have the same record 2-1, and this moment they are tied in the second place in the NFC West 2-1. So it's very important to win this game because the winner of this game is gonna to have is gonna to prove to a 3-1 record, and they're gonna to win a divisional game. So remember that the last week the Arizona Cardinals traveled to San Francisco and they lost against the 49ers 16-15. Where, to be honest, the Cardinals dominated this game, but they made several mistakes, especially in the fourth quarter, that costed the game. And about the Seattle Seahawks, they received the New Orleans Saints, in this moment the worst team in the league, and they didn't have any problem and defeated and humiliated the Saints 44-13. In this moment, I think in this game, the Seattle Seahawks are the favorite team. But to be honest, I don't know why I feel that the Cardinals can win this game, and I think they're going to win this game because the Cardinals, even that in the first two games, they faced two bad teams. The Saints and the Panthers, and I think that they play a good game against the 49ers. So I think that this is going to be a close game, and I think that the Cardinals are going to win this game by 1 or 3 point difference, and I think that most probably this game is going to be defined in the last play of the game. And in the Sunday games, it's gonna to start very early. Where in the first game of the Sunday, my favorite team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, are gonna to play against the Minnesota Vikings. This game is gonna to be played outside USA in Dublin, Ireland, 9:30 Eastern time. The Sunday is going to be very funny because it's going to start since the 9:30 Eastern time until the 23 Eastern time, or the midnight of the Monday. So it's going to be full of games since the beginning to the day until the end of the day. So remember that the Steelers sacrificed one home game to play in Ireland, because remember that the Rooney family comes from Ireland, the owner of the Steelers. So for that reason, this game is going to play in Dublin, Ireland. This is going to be the first game that is going to play in Ireland, and this is the second game of 7 games that are going to. This is the second of the 7 games that are going to be to play outside of USA. So about this game, this is very interesting game because both teams in this moment have the same record 2-1. The last week the Steelers battled a lot, but in the end they could defeat the Patriots. They defeated the Patriots 21-14, and the Vikings they didn't have any problem, and they defeated and humiliated the Bengals 48-10. About this game, in my opinion, the Vikings are a better team than the Steelers, especially in the defense side. But I think that where the Steelers can win this game is in the offense side, because I think that the J.J. McCarthy is going to return to play this game. If not, the Carson Wentz, the bench quarterback, is going to play this game. But I think that the Aaron Rodgers, the Steelers quarterback, is better than any of the Vikings two quarterbacks. So I think that this is where going to be the difference. So I think it's going to be a close game. I think that the most probably this game is going to be defined in the last play of the game or in the last second of the game. And I think that my favorite team, the Steelers, are going to win this game by 1 or 3 point difference. And in the games that are going to start on the 13 o'clock Eastern time are going to be played 7 games, where in the first game, in a good game, the Atlanta Falcons are going to receive the Washington Commanders. This game is going to be played in the Mercedes-Dome Stadium on Atlanta, Georgia. The last week, the Falcons traveled to Carolina and they lost, but the way how they lost was a very humiliating because the way they were shut down and they lost 3-0 against the Cardinals Panthers, one of the worst teams in the league, and the Commanders didn't have any problem and they defeated the Raiders 41-24. And about this game, the Jason Daniels, the Commanders starting quarterback, didn't play that game for an injury. In this moment, the Commanders have a 2-1 record, are in the second place in the NFC East, and the Falcons are in the third place in the NFC South with the 1-2 record. So this is a must game for the Falcons because they are going to play home and they need to avoid to start the season 1-3. Also about the Commanders, it looks like that this is going to be the back-to-back game where the Jadon Daniels, the Commanders quarterback, is not going to play. So this is going to define if the Commanders win or don't win. I think that in this moment the Commanders are better team than the Falcons. I think that the Falcons are a very good team, but the way how they lost the last game, it was a very difficult to process. So I think that most of the time where teams play a full and bad game and they were humiliated, the next game they try to play the best as possible. So I think that this will be a very interesting game, but in the end I see where the Commanders got the Falcons. So I think that the Commanders are going to win this game by 1 or 3 point difference, and the most probably this game is going to be defined in the last second of the game. In another game, the New York Giants are going to receive the Los Angeles Chargers. This game is going to be played on the MetLife Stadium in Rutherford, New Jersey. Remember that the last week the New York Giants received the Kansas City Chiefs and they lost 22-9. Well, to be honest, this was one of the worst games that I watched in my life because two teams are very bad. And the Chargers, in a close game, they could defeat a divisional rival, the Denver Broncos. They won 23-20 and they improved through a 3-0 record. In this moment, the New York Giants are in the bottom of the NFC East. They are winless. They have a 0-2 record, and because that reason, the Giants head coach decided to bench decide to bench the Russell Wilson, and he's gonna to put as starting quarterback to the rookie quarterback Jason Dars. I think that it can be worse for the Giants in this moment, and the Chargers are starting the season in a tremendous way because in this moment they are undefeated. They are leading the AFC West, and the most important is that the 3 games that they have won the 3 games against the divisional rival. So this is very important, and this can define this is very important for them. So this is going to be an interesting game, but to be honest, the Chargers are better team than the Giants, and also the Chargers have a tremendous defense. So I think that the Giants are going to improve they're going to improve, but in the end, the Chargers are better, and I think the Chargers are going to win this game by 7 or 10 point difference. In another game, the Houston Texans are going to receive the Tennessee Titans. This game is going to be played in Houston, Texas. The last week, the Texans traveled to Florida, to Jacksonville, and they lost against his divisional rival, the Jaguars, 17-10. And about the Titans, play again and receive one divisional rival, the Indianapolis Colts. They couldn't compete, and they lost 41-20. In this moment, both teams are in the border of the AFC South. Sorry, they have a 0-2 record. The most probably the season is over. I still think that the Texas can still save this season because they have the team to minimum compete and try to win this division, but it's very difficult in this moment. Also, the most important is that for first time in the season, any of these teams are going to win this game. So I think that because the Texans are going to play home and the Titans are one of the worst teams in the league, the Texans are going to win this game by 7 or 10 point difference, and they're going to win its first game of the season. And in another game, one of the best game of the week, if not of the week, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to receive the Philadelphia Eagles. This game is going to be played in Tampa Bay, Florida. The last week, both teams won their game in the last minutes of the game or in the last play of the game, and this was very funny. The both games, the Buccaneers that almost wasted an advantage of more than 17 points. They won in the last play of the game where they defeated the New York Jets 29 by 27. And about the Philadelphia Eagles, the reigning champion team, they come back. They were trailing by 19-point difference in the beginning of the second half, and they won the game. Where in the first half they were dominated by the Rams, but in the second half they improved its football, and they come from behind and they won that game. Also, the special team made the play of the game where they stopped the Rams' potential winning field goal in the last play of the game, and they scored a touchdown and they won the game 13-26. In this moment, both teams are undefeated. The Philadelphia Eagles are leading the NFC East, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are leading the NFC South. To be honest, I think that the Eagles, in this moment, even that they are the reigning champion team and they are undefeated, the Eagles aren't playing a very good football, but the most important is that they're winning. And what is happening with the Buccaneers is something that is happening with the Eagles, but it's very funny for the Buccaneers because most of the time they play a very bad football for most part of the game, but they always react, and Baker Mayfield leads the team in the last drive of the game to win the game. So it's going to be a very interesting game. I think it's going to be tremendous. But I think that in this moment the Buccaneers are playing a little better than the Eagles, and because the Buccaneers are going to play home, I think that the Buccaneers are going to win this game by 3-point difference, and the most probably this game is going to be defined in the last minutes of the game. Also, I don't know why this game was played in the 13 o'clock Eastern time. Minimum this game should have moved to the 16 o'clock Eastern time or in the Sunday Night Football. In another game, where two of the worst teams in the league, the New England Patriots are going to receive the Cardinals Panthers. This game is going to be played in Foxborough, Massachusetts, in July Stadium. The last week, the Patriots lost against my favorite team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, 21 by 14, where the Patriots had 5 turnovers, and they could and they lost that game. They wasted the opportunity to win its first game of the season in home, and the Panthers did the surprise of the week because they defeated and humiliated and shut down the divisional rivals, the Atlanta Falcons, 3-0. In this moment, both teams have the same record, 1-2. The Panthers are in the second place in the NFC South with that record, and the Patriots are in the second place in the AFC East. So I think that both teams are very bad, but because the Patriots are going to play home, I think that the Patriots are going to win this game by 3 or 7-point difference. In another game, the Buffalo Bills are going to receive the New Orleans Saints. This game is going to be played in Buffalo Bills. The last week, the Buffalo Bills received the Miami Dolphins, and they suffered more than I expected, but in the end they could defeat the Miami Dolphins, especially in the fourth quarter, 31 by 21, and the New Orleans Saints, they traveled to the West Coast, to Seattle, Washington, and they couldn't compete, and they were humiliated, and they lost 44-13. In this moment, the Buffalo Bills are leading the AFC East. They are undefeated, 3-0 record, and the Saints are in the border of the NFC South, 0-3. The Bills are one of the best teams in the league, and remember that they play in the last Thursday Night Football, so they are going to have 10 days to prepare this game, and the New Orleans Saints are one of the worst teams in this moment in the league, if not the best, the worst team in the league. So, seeing this condition, I think that the Buffalo Bills are not going to have any problem, and they are going to win this game by more than 17-point difference. And in another game, in a good game, the Detroit Lions are going to receive the Cleveland Browns. This game is going to be played in the Ford Stadium and Detroit, Michigan. The last week in the Monday Night Football, the Detroit Lions traveled to Baltimore, Maryland, and in a tremendous game, they could defeat the Baltimore Ravens 38 by 30, and the Cleveland Browns, they did the surprise of the week, where they defeated the Green Bay Packers 13-10. where the Browns were trailing 10-0 in the beginning of the fourth quarter. They scored 13 points without answer, and they won its first game of the season. In this moment, the Detroit Lions are in the third place in the NFC North with a 2-1 record, and the Cleveland Browns are in the bottom of the AFC North with 1-2 record. So, about the Detroit Lions, made a statement the last Monday, and they sent a message to the league that the Detroit Lions can still compete and can defeat the top teams. And also, and about the Cleveland Browns, they did a surprise. Because the Browns have a tremendous defense unity, but the problem is offense unity. Also, it's very difficult that the Browns can defeat back-to-back games, and also they can defeat another top team. So I think that the Lions won't have any problem, and they will win this game by more than 10-point difference. And the we'll have two games that will be played at 16:05 Eastern time. In the first game, the 49ers are going to receive the Jacksonville Jaguars. This game is going to be played in the Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California. In the last week, the 49ers battled a lot, but they could defeat divisional rival, the Arizona Cardinals, 16-15. The problem with them is that the Bosa, one of his top stars, got injured. He had a knee injury, and he's going to be out for the rest of the league, for the rest of the season. But the good news is that Brock Purdy, the starting quarterback, he's going to play this game. So this is very great. And the Jaguars battled a lot, but in the end they could defeat the Tennessee Titans 17-10. In this moment, the Jacksonville Jaguars are in the second place in the AFC South with a 2-1 record, and the 49ers are undefeated, and they are leading the NFC West for 3-0. So this will be an interesting game. But in the end, if Brock Purdy plays this game, I think that the 49ers are going to win this game. Of course, it's a very the 49ers unfortunately they have been battling with a lot of injuries, but this is part of the football. So I think that this will be an interesting game. But in the end, I think that the 49ers are going to take advantage to play home, and they're going to win this game by 1 or 3 point difference. And the most probably this game is going to be played. They're going to win this game in the last play of the game. In another game, one of the best game of the week, the Los Angeles Rams are going to receive the Indianapolis Colts. This game is going to be played in Inglewood, California, on SoFi Stadium. The last week, the Los Angeles Rams traveled to the East West. They visited the reigning champion team, the Philadelphia Eagles, and unfortunately, they lost that game in the last play of the game, where they had the opportunity to win this game with a field goal, but it was blocked. But also, the Rams played a tremendous game in the first half, where in the beginning of the fourth quarter, the second half, they were leading the game by 19-point difference. They played an awful and bad game in the second half. They were outplayed, they scored by the Philadelphia Eagles, and they couldn't handle the lead, and they lost that game. And about the Colts, they are until this moment the surprise of the season, because they are undefeated. They defeated the Tennessee Titans 41-20 the last week. So this is going to be a tremendous game, because in this moment the Rams are in the second place in the NFC West with a 2-1 record, and the Indianapolis Colts are leading the AFC South, with a 3-0 record. So this will be a tremendous game. But in the end, I think that the Rams are a better team, and until this moment, the Colts haven't faced a top team. Of course, they defeated the Denver Broncos in the week 2, but the Broncos were better than the Colts, and they made several mistakes. But this is not Colts' problem. So I think that the Rams are going to show that they can compete and defeat the top teams. So I think that the Rams are going to win this game by 7 or 10 point difference, and the Colts are going to lose its first game of the season. And the two games will be two games that will be played 16:25 Eastern time. In the first game, the Las Vegas Raiders are going to receive the Chicago Bears. This game is going to be played in the Alligator Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. The last week, the Raiders traveled to the Washington D.C. and they couldn't compete and lost against the Washington Commanders 41-24. And the Chicago Bears didn't have any problem, defeated the Dallas Cowboys, and they won that game 31-14. With this victory, the Chicago Bears won its first game of the season, and they won its first game of the season. But in this moment, they're in the border of the NFC North with a 1-2 record, and Las Vegas Raiders they have the same record that the Chicago Bears, the 1-2 record, and are in the second place in the AFC West. These two teams are very bad team. I think that in this moment the Bears are a little better than the Raiders, and this is a lot to say. But in the end, because the Raiders are going to play home, I think that the Raiders are going to win this game by 7-point difference. And the second game of this time, and the best game in my opinion, in this week, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to receive the Baltimore Ravens. This game is going to be played in the Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. The last week, the Kansas City Chiefs traveled to the Big Apple, and they play an awful game. I'm not gonna lie, especially in the offense side, but they could defeat and win that game 22-9. And the Baltimore Ravens received the Detroit Lions in the Monday Night Football, and they lost that game 38 by 30 again. The Ravens play a good game, but about the mistakes, they made several mistakes, especially in the fourth quarter. For example, another fumble for Derrick Henry that costed the game to the Ravens. So in this moment, it's a very surprise because both teams have that 1-2 record. The Ravens are in the third place in the AFC North, and also the problem is that the two games that they have lost against top teams. The first week against the Buffalo Bills, and the third week against the Detroit Lions. Of course, both games they didn't play bad football, but in the end they made several mistakes that costed the game. And the Kansas City Chiefs, they have been struggling a lot, to be honest. This is a surprise because they're in the bottom of the AFC West 1-2 record, and I think that they're going to improve, but they have lost against top teams. The Chargers, the week 1 on Sao Paulo, Brazil, and the week 2 against the reigning champion team, the Philadelphia Eagles. So this is going to be a tremendous game. I think that the Ravens are better team than the Chiefs, but also you can never bet against the Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, and because the Chiefs are going to play home, I think that the Chiefs are going to win this game, and they're going to win this game, I think, by 1 or 3 point difference, and they're going to win this game in the last play of the game. And in the Sunday Night Football, the Dallas Cowboys are going to receive the Green Bay Packers. This game is going to be played in Fort Worth or Arlington, Texas, on the AT&T Stadium at 2020 Eastern Time. The last week, the Cowboys traveled to Chicago, and they couldn't compete, and they lost 31-14 against the Chicago Bears. And the Green Bay Packers, they traveled to Cleveland, Ohio, and where I thought that they were going to dominate this game, and then they were going to win that game by more than 14-point difference. They lost 13-10, where they were leading the game 10-0 in the beginning of the fourth quarter, but they allowed 13 points without answer, and they lost that game. In this moment, the Dallas Cowboys are in the third place in the NFC East with a 1-2 record, and the Packers are dominating the NFC North with a 2-1 record. So I think that the Packers, it was a mistake of what happened the last week against the Cleveland Browns. I think that the Packers will want to send a message to the league that what happened in the last week against the Browns, it was a mistake, and the Packers can compete and can dominate any team. So I think that the Cowboys are going to pay that. So I think that the Packers are going to play one of the best game. And the Packers are going to dominate, and they're going to win this game by 14-point difference. And in the Monday Night Football, we're going to have a double header, where, to be honest, both games are very bad. In the first game, the Miami Dolphins are going to receive the New York Jets. This game is going to be played on Miami, Florida, and Hard Rock Stadium, and 19:15 Eastern Time. The last week, the Miami Dolphins traveled to Buffalo, New York, and they play a good game. The problem is that when you play against a top team, you need to play a good game all the games, no need required. So the Dolphins lost against the Buffalo Bills 31-21 in the Thursday Night Football, and the New York Jets, they traveled to Tampa Bay, Florida, but they lost against the Buccaneers 29-27, where they were trailing by more than 20-point difference in the beginning of the fourth quarter, but they never give it up. they fight a lot. They were leading the game by 1 point difference with less than 2 minutes to play, but they couldn't stop the Buccaneers and they lost that game. In this moment, these two teams are very bad because they are in the bottom of the AFC East. They have a 0-2 record each one, and both teams are very bad. I think that the Dolphins have the advantage to playing home, and because they will have 11 games to prepare this game. But to be honest, I see a little better the Dolphins, or I think that the Dolphins are worse than the Jets. So I think that this is going to be a funny game because when two bad teams play, the most of the time the game is very funny. So I think that the Jets are going to win this game by 3 or 7 point difference, and they're going to win its first game of the season. In the last game of the day and of the week, in the second game of the Monday Night Football, the Denver Broncos are going to receive the Cincinnati Bengals. This game is going to be played in the High Mile in Denver, Colorado, and 2015 Eastern Time. The last week, the Denver Broncos traveled to Inglewood, California, and they lost against the Los Angeles Chargers 23-20, a divisional rival. And the Bengals traveled to Minnesota. And the problem is that because remember that Joe Burrow didn't play that game because he got injured, and he's going to be out until December or for the rest of the season. They couldn't compete, and they were humiliated 48-10. In this moment, the Broncos are in the third place in the AFC West with 1-2 record, and the Bengals are leading the AFC North 2-1. But they are going to fall more because I think that they can compete. They can compete. They can compete without Joe Burrow. So I think that the Broncos are going to take advantage. The Bengals are not going to play. That Joe Burrow is not going to play with Bengals. So I think that the Broncos are going to win this game by 7 or 10 point difference, and they're going to win this game. So I hope you like this video, and if you have any comment suggestion, you can write me in another social media platform. So see you next video. Jimmer.